Today, I'm delighted to welcome Aida Cervera to Elise Explains IP. Before we begin, this episode is a little different from my usual format. From time to time, I thought it'd be fun to sit down with some intellectual property professionals from around the world to discuss trends, challenges, and developments in their jurisdictions. I also thought it'd be interesting to have lawyers from other disciplines come and talk about the intersection between IP and their practice area. For example, estate planning or business law. If you enjoy this style of episode, I'd love to hear your feedback because I'd be delighted to bring many more conversations like this to the podcast. So, Aida is the founding partner of CELE Abogados in Mexico and has more than 20 years of experience in advising businesses on intellectual property matters, particularly trademarks, branding, and brand protection. Her experience spans both private practice and government, including almost 4 years at the Mexican Institute of Industrial Property, or the IMPI, within the Divisional Department of Marks. So that background gives her a really unique perspective on the practical and legal challenges that businesses face when trying to protect brands in Mexico and internationally. Aida holds a law degree from, and excuse my very bad Spanish, Universidad de las Americas, and a specialist degree in intellectual property from the Ilustre y Nacional Colegio de Abogados de Mexico. She is also an active member of the International Trademark Association, or INTA, which is where I met her at our recent annual meeting in London, and she regularly works with clients navigating trademark protection across multiple jurisdictions. In today's episode, we're going to explore some of the biggest trademark and branding challenges that business encounter when operating internationally in Mexico, as well as Aida's thoughts on the impact of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies on the future of intellectual property. I'm going to apologise for my sound. It sounds like I'm at the bottom of a pool, but hopefully we can fix that up in future episodes. Thank you for being here on the podcast today. Before we get into it, do you want to just introduce yourself and explain a little bit about how you got into intellectual property?
Okay. Hello, my name is Aida Cervera. I'm from Mexico City. I'm 45 years old. I've been involved on intellectual property affairs more than 20 years ago. I started being an examiner and supervisor at the Mexican Trademark Office. Then I moved to different law firms, medium and big size. But after many years working in different law firms, I started my own business in 2023. 23, yes, by the end, no, 23, yes, sorry, it's just that time goes fast. So I own my own law firm. It's a boutique law firm, specialized on intellectual property affairs. And now I am between Mexico City and Querétaro. Querétaro is a beautiful and big, close to Mexico City, but it's a more quiet place, And so after living 40 years in Mexico City, and because of pandemic and all those issues, I decided to be between Mexico City and Querétaro. And honestly, it's a beautiful place. The weather is amazing, and it has been a very good idea and a very good decision.
Part of that, the benefit of owning your own firm has been able to do that sort of thing.
Exactly. And honestly, because everything is, you file and everything can be done online and remotely. So to now, it has not been a problem. So I met Elise in INTA, in the annual meeting in London this year. And so she invited me to this podcast, and I'm very happy to be here. Honestly, I'm a bit nervous because when it's about, it's because language is not my first language. And for us is, or maybe for me, is common that you say, it's just, I don't want to make mistakes. I want to speak perfectly. And all people will notice that this is my mistake or my pronunciation is not perfect. And
I promise you no one will care.
Thank you, Elise, because you are moving me from my, my space.
Out of your comfort zone.
Exactly, because sometimes I feel that when I am very exposed, it's like, ooh. So thank you so much.
Have a chat. Absolutely, my pleasure. We'll chat about intellectual property in Mexico. What are some of the trademark mistakes that you see businesses make
In Mexico, normally we have some problems about formal requirements concerning classification of goods and services. Uh, you know that every couple of years, 2 or 3 years, there is a date about the nice classification. So sometimes you are totally adapted to the current edition of the classification, and then you have changes.
This is for the classification of goods and services.
And in Mexico, the Mexican Trademark Office is very sometimes it's narrow and is very narrow about classification of goods and services. Normally, what they prefer is that all your description is according to the classificator. So sometimes it is difficult, especially for some classes, for example, 9, 7, all classes about technology or technology services, which sometimes is difficult to the
Fit into
client
the
wants
existing
a
classification.
specific description, a specific description, wording. Sometimes when you file it, it's like it could be classified in class 11, 7, 9, etc. So I think that there are the main, not mistakes, I mean, because probably it's correctly filed, but the examiner is not understanding what you want to say. I think that it could be mistakes. Of course, if you are, I don't know how it's in Australia, but in Mexico, many applications are filed by people or who
Applicants
are not
themselves.
hiring a lawyer. Sometimes it's difficult for us to understand about classification or some specific requirements. For example, if you have to delete some words or you have to disclaim some elements of the trademarks, obviously it will be more difficult for people who are not specialized on intellectual property affairs. So yes, it would be classification. I think it would be the main problem when filing trade.
It's always difficult for.
Yes.
I always find people who've filed a trademark and it doesn't actually cover what they do.
Yes.
So like, it's my pet.
And
Pretty much worthless.
Exactly. And Mexican Trademark Office offer advisory for to the people for helping them how to file, but obviously they can do the work instead of the person who has to file the application. You know, they could be part and the solicitor and the authority at the same time. But I don't know, in Australia, do you have the same problem or?
Absolutely. Everyone's like, it's so easy to file a trademark. You just fill out the form and pay the fee, and you're like, not quite.
But exactly when people come to me after that. Well, hopefully they come before that. How different is the Mexican approach to trademark enforcement? Like, are they very
aggressive?
Can you file a customs status to prevent things being
imported?
Yes, it's enforcement work in Mexico.
Yes, it's same, and especially last years, maybe the last 2 years, it think about enforcement, about avoiding those kind of illegal practices are trying to be avoided, and the Mexican trademark of the IMPI, the Mexican Institute for Intellectual Property, are having a more aggressive attitude for facing those problems. It was similar to Australia. You record the trademark registrations that shall be registered obviously before customs, and they will inform you in case they detect an illegal merchandise that will be violating some intellectual property rights, so you can take action. So yes, it's similar. Yes, a bit.
And do you?
I was going to say the courts supportive
Of
action by brand owners in that space as well.
Yes, you receive the notice and you have 5 days for taking actions. And obviously you need to have, we work with a team who are specialized on that, everything about enforcement. So obviously you need to also inform your client quickly, but also your client need to have a quick response about it, and in case if they decide to proceed or not. Before that, it's important that your client decides, for example, in case of how many items of which are part of the merchandise, depending on the volume, if they will take action or not. It's like a different kind of rules you need to receive or rules. Yes, you need to receive from your client to determine if you will take action or not, just for not losing time. And obviously you need to have a power of attorney. I know it's
So you probably want to have that set up in advance.
Yes, you need to have a lot of information in advance about what trademarks. Yes, what trademarks, not what which, depending on what volume taking action or what volume of, if you want to take action or not. Obviously, you need to check, for example, if the trademark, how currently are registered your trademarks, because sometimes maybe the merchandise that which are trying to enter to the country, maybe you have the protection of the nominative trademark of the word mark. Maybe the merchandise are using a design, or maybe are composed for by other terms. So sometimes it is a problem in case you want to launch criminal actions, especially for criminal actions. You can go by the administrative way. Sometimes it's not very comfortable for the client, because they need to spend more money because of the deposit of the merchandise has to be there much more time, because the process for an infringement action takes more time, and so it's complicated.
Complicated.
And what kind of
Trademarks
are the most difficult to predict
in Mexico.
Well, I think that now, in this moment, the non-traditional trademarks, because we have we have had several now with some legal modifications, and in the past the new internet now is the okay, Spanish is Ley Federal de Protección a la Propiedad Industrial. In the past was Ley de la Propiedad Industrial. So some changes about it, and they added the non-traditional, for example, sound trademarks, those kind of trademarks that, in my opinion, I'm not sure if the authority have the technology and the specialization for detecting if a non-traditional trademark should be protected or not, or for example, or maybe others also, because at the end you receive the instructions to file a trademark. But for example, I can't imagine how, in case of a sound in a trademark formed by a sound trademark, how you can determine if it is confusingly similar to another trademark, how you can conduct a trademark search. So I don't know, maybe in future you will have trademarks that shouldn't be registered or hadn't been registered, but I don't know. It's like, let's see where at the end, if it can be protected, it should be protected. But let's see in future what happens with that. Another will be the 3D trademarks. Because obviously there are some trademarks that when you see, you say, of course, it's distinctive, it's not descriptive or indicative of the characteristics of the good to be protected. But in some cases you say, oh, I don't think so. But after doing a deep analysis, you can confirm that it's distinctive. But you understand that, but maybe the examiner won't understand that or will not. So you need to start with to try to have communication with examiners for telling them or sharing. They should understand
that's not a flight way that you can overcome objections is by filing submissions, I guess, to the examiner about why they should accept it.
Exactly. But fortunately, in Mexico, now you have more access for having communication with the examiners, because in the many years ago it was very difficult. It was like impossible, and just for avoiding rejections or requirements that should not be notified or raised, you can have access. And what we do on those when it happens is like, okay, let's file it and let's try to talk with the examiner just to explain him how they should understand what we are filing. Or maybe, obviously, because maybe we think we are correct, and maybe after having an interaction, a meeting, they say, okay, yes, but no, you need to modify that, or you need to add this, or delete this, whatever. So it's very helpful that you can do that.
Yeah, it is great to be able to have a
Chat. Deal
with some of their objections. Are you seeing any AI related trademark issues or businesses starting
in Mexico?
Well, it's just AI is when all this term started, is like all people start to be very excited, and up to now I see a lot of people excited about it. And yes, we use AI, like for especially as a tool, honestly, just as a tool for our work. I mean, translations, so for doing the summarize, for obviously for obtaining information, searching for information, but it has always to be confirmed because I heard, I'm not sure, but I heard that some colleagues uses, like as it is shown on the or obtained or released by the AI, and it's like copy paste, and many problems are being now about it because fake information, because AI is like an echo. How you ask, maybe how she will answer you. So it's different from with a human, because if you ask in a different ways a human, at the end, if it is the same question of you are looking for the same good, the response has to be the same. The work has to be the same, the report or whatever. But AI, you need to be very careful about it. I heard, and I don't know if you heard, I don't know which country was, if Spain or Chile, I don't remember, but an attorney filed a plaintiff maybe is by citing fake legal precedents, jurisprudence, and it was detected by the judge, and it was
I would say it was probably Spain
And
and Chile and the US
in Australia,
and
there's
Mexico.
actually
there's a database
someone is
is compiling of AI related cases, and whether it was a self filer or a lawyer, and what the sanctions that the court culprits for that use of AI.
And for example, I don't know if you have. I had an experience because one day I was using AI, and I used it exactly for like trying to find information. I don't remember the topic, but when I received the response, it's like, it sounds me like a kind of arguments that a lawyer done, and I say it's important to check it because a lot of information is on the internet, and how AI can filter if the AI is using a copyrighted information or not, and maybe you just cited in your text, in your right, and you don't know if you are violating intellectual property.
Yes.
We are dealing with the protection by copyrights about intellectual property, by the information on the work. I don't know. How do you think about it? It's like, I'm interested on that because I see many people saying, no, let's use AI for everything. And some people really think that they will substitute AI, or they will substitute their employees by using AI. And I don't think so. Maybe I think that it's helpful for because, as I told you, because of translations, because of maybe formats, adapting formats, everything about how making presentations. I think those kind of, or maybe many for automatic things. Those things that maybe you don't need to have you don't need to have a like no, I don't know, a brain work or a
yeah. So one
One of the examples I like to use of this is we had a really seminal case between Katy Perry and Katy Perry. You might have read about it. It was in the High Court in Australia. And I asked one of the generative AIs to summarize the case for me, to summarize the decision. And it's like, Katy Perry, the singer one. They're like, no, it didn't. It's advanced. Can you go back and reread it? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry.
so at the end, how many people would you need for confirming all the information and all the work done by the AI.
Yeah.
At the end, it's not like, okay, I will fire all my workers because
You still
I
need
have
people.
AI and AI can do everything. No, no, no. Okay, you can do it, of course, but oh,
Yeah.
I will have many doubts about your work. Yesterday, sorry, tell me.
No, I was going to say, having been on the receiving end of a letter of demands that had been clearly drafted by AI, and it's just final irrelevant case law. Oh, sorry, irrelevant legislation. And I'm just like, now you have spent, my client has to spend my valuable time rebutting this nonsense.
And it will be a big problem for us because at the end your client is paying your fees because of your of the work you do, because of because your know-how, because your argument, because how could you deal with the authority, with the judges, etc. So if now is a platform, is an AI will do everything, how you can justify your fees, your cost with your clients? There is also I don't remember the name of the. It was a big law firm. It was not about intellectual property, but apparently it was a case in which the client lost, the decision didn't benefit the client, and the client detected that the attorneys use, and they say, okay, how maybe the use of the AI had an impact in the decision of the judge first, and secondly, if it was done by using AI, I'm not agree of paying your fees. Exactly. It has, you need to do a considerable reduction of fees because you are not using your attorneys, or not, you are not using your attorneys at in the past, and you can justify the hours you are charging me. So let's be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because maybe you can say you will save money by not by having less co-workers with you, but let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't help you with the overall. Has the Mexican government or the IMPI or whatever issued any guidance around AI generated materials and whether copyright, trademark registration would be available for those materials?
Yes, for like protecting the software, protecting maybe the protecting the service, the class 42, and the providing of the provision of technological services. But up to now, we are starting with that. I think that we may have more information in the next years. Now we have some legal modifications about the concerning AI, so it's very recent. Yeah, in Mexico is very recent. So I think that we may have news in the next months, next years, I think.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yes.
What's one parting piece of advice that you would like to give to people who are interested in intellectual property in Mexico?
Advice concerning what? A specific topic or anything? Well, protect your as I think the main is protect your intellectual property rights, because it's the way you can start actions against third parties which are using your intellectual property rights on an illegal way without your authorization, and obviously because it is part of your business. I mean, you it make you gain money. It's your so it can be a big valuable thing for you. I mean, it means so protect. Also, be involved about what is involved in property affairs. I mean, and you should not be an expert, but try to learn about it. And obviously, I know some people do not want to spend money on that. I don't know in Australia, but in Mexico, things are changing. People are more interested on protecting their ideas, their products, the services they offer. Sometimes there are some people that say that I don't want to spend money on that because I don't know if it will be successful or not. I don't know if it will. And I think that the main things they should pay attention, or they or on which they should spend their money is like like buying a property for offering the services, or other kind of taxes. Property is like it's not the
Bottom
main
of the
the main
list.
problem exactly. So we have a lot of situations on which it's just that my trademark, and I started my business 5 years ago, but I never protect my trademark, and I filed by myself, and I don't know what happened, and it's like when you review it, it's like it will be totally different, and now we will face obstacles, or maybe they don't want to change their name now, but the worst scenario is that maybe they can be sued, and
Somebody else.
exactly, because or they never knew that the trademark they are using it was protected by a third party. It's like, I think it is my main advice. and obviously, if you can do that, try to hire an expert on that topics, because it will be very helpful. You don't need to spend money on that, but at the end, it will be a very good for you, a benefit for you. Exactly.
Fantastic. And that leads nicely into my last question. If people are interested in getting in touch with you, yeah, would say the best place for them to get in touch with you. He said this. By your website.
By email, but it will be by LinkedIn. But I prefer that you contact me by email. My email is aida@CELEIP.com.
Fantastic. Well, then we'll put that in the show notes so that if people are interested in getting in touch.
Yes, if you have yes. Thank you. If you need any legal support in Mexico concerning intellectual property rights, contact me. And of course, if you need any legal support in Australia, contact my friend Elise. She's an expert and a very good attorney.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here. It's been really great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Elise.
Thanks for spending time with me on Elise Explains IP. If you picked up something useful, hit follow, subscribe, leave us a review, or send it to a founder friend who could use this information. And remember, this is general information, not legal advice. If you do want help with your IP, you can book a strategy call with me at any time via my website. The link's in the description. So until next time, own your own ideas.